This is duct tape. Everybody knows what duct tape is. You can use it to fix just about anything. Broke your mom's favorite vase? Use duct tape. Card not working quite right? Try using some duct tape. Duct tape can fix just about anything in your home. So, what if we had something for the human body that was the same way? What if there was a way, what if there was a solution that could fix any problem that you had in the human body? My name is Sean Corcoran, and I think I have that solution. I'm studying biomedical engineering here at Penn State, and I want to talk to you about the uses of stem cells in regenerative medicine. So, stem cells, I think, have the ability to treat and cure a majority of the diseases and illnesses that affect humans today. So today I want to take you through what a stem cell is, how they work, specifically how do the treatments for spinal cord injuries, which I spoke about in my problem speech, how do they fix spinal cord injuries, and finally, where are they? Why are there not more stem cell therapies available? So first, let's start off, what is a stem cell? Well, a stem cell is defined by the National Institute of Health by two criteria. One, a stem cell can divide indefinitely. And two, a stem cell has the ability to differentiate into any cell. Well, what does this mean? Essentially, a stem cell is a cell that can become any other type of cell in the body. This means that, in theory, a cell could be used to fix a heart, lung, neuron, skin, any sort of issue. Stem cells, essentially, there are two different types of stem cells. There are adult and embryonic stem cells. An embryonic stem cell comes from a fertilized embryo, and this is a bit controversial, and I'll talk about that later. The other type of stem cell is an adult stem cell, which is usually taken from bone marrow or taken from a skin cell that is then reverse engineered to become a stem cell. So stem cells can become any type of cell in the body, which means they can be used to fix almost any problem with the cells in your body. Shown here are the different types of cells that a stem cell can become, including skin cells, pancreatic cells, organ cells, muscle cells, and today we'll focus mostly on neuron cells, as that's what I spoke about in my problem presentation, and that's my solution to spinal cord injuries. So just to recap a bit from my problem speech, a spinal cord injury occurs when something happens that damages the spinal cord in such a way that the nerve pathways are broken up. Essentially, a gap forms. So my solution is to use stem cells to fill that gap. The way this works is a stem cell is essentially primed, or it is given the correct factors so that it is ready to become a nerve cell. It is then injected into the spinal canal, and then it attaches to the broken spot and begins healing. So with stem cell injections, then the stem cell attaches and becomes a nerve cell and begins to bridge that gap. Now the healing factors of this are actually twofold. One is that stem cells actually become nerve cells, and the stem cells themselves bridge that gap. But also the stem cells, by bridging that gap, send a healing impulse, which helps the axons and the nerves already near the gap to begin healing and regenerating as well. So in theory, if enough stem cell injections were given, the stem cell could bridge the gap and all function could actually be regained in the spinal cord. And so if stem cells are this incredible miracle cure that I'm making them out to be right now, and if they can, fix paralysis, why are we not using them? Well, there are political and ethical dilemmas, political and ethical problems with using stem cells. So the biggest issues lie with embryonic stem cells, in that they're a bit controversial. Many people think that embryonic stem cells come from maybe morally ambiguous places, such as aborted fetuses, and this is a common misconception about embryonic stem cells. Embryonic stem cells are actually the byproducts of in vitro fertilization. So in vitro fertilization, if you're not familiar with it, is when many egg cells are fertilized in a tube and then implanted in a mother. Well, these other fertilized cells then are either have to be stored at the cost of the parents, or they have to be destroyed. And so stem cell research actually goes to recycle these cells so that they don't have to be destroyed, but they can instead be used to maybe fix issues like spinal cord injuries or diseases or other things of that nature. So essentially, there's nothing unethical about using them because they're going to be destroyed anyway, so we might as well use them for good. And so this misconception kind of has fallen into the government as well. And as you can see, back in the late 90s, there wasn't very much federal funding for stem cell research because it was just controversial and many people didn't quite understand it. And so as in vitro fertilization and as stem cell research has progressed, we've actually found that stem cells don't have to be taken from these unsavory places necessarily, and they can be used more and more effectively. And so over time, federal funding for stem cell research has increased, and a lot of the restrictions that used to be on stem cell research have been lifted. And this is all according to Research America. So I mean, with these bans lifted, stem cell research has exploded even in the last 10 years. And so I really hope to see a lot more breakthroughs, a lot more approved therapies with stem cells starting to come through, and stem cells really taking off as a primary method of treatment for a lot of things. So today we went through what a stem cell is, how it works, and then we went through how these therapies work, how it actually heals the spinal cord when it is used. And then finally we went through why stem cells aren't more prevalent today, and kind of how they've progressed and how stem cells hopefully in the near future could be a real tool in helping solve a lot of medical issues. And so I believe stem cells can be an incredible tool to cure a lot of diseases and injuries that impact millions of people every day. And I hope to see the rise of stem cell therapies in the future as a cure for a lot of debilitating diseases. Thank you. Questions?